How the block on Montana's TikTok ban could thwart other proposals. The defeat of Montana's TikTok ban in federal court could deter other lawmakers from moving ahead with efforts to block the popular video sharing app, facing bipartisan backlash. There was mounting scrutiny over TikTok before Montana's governor, Greg, Gianfort, signed a law in May banning the app. House lawmakers grilled TikTok CEO in March as momentum and pressure built to ban the app. Dozens of states and federal governments followed up with narrower bans, restricting the TikTok from government-owned devices. But a district judge ruling that Montana's law violates users' free speech could be a warning sign for state legislators and Congress to avoid running into the same roadblock. Experts had already warned lawmakers that such bans would be difficult or nearly impossible to enforce. Sarah Krebs, director of Tech Policy Institute in Cornell Brooks School of Public Policy, said the ruling feels like it may be a final nail in the coffin of proposals aimed at banning something as popular as TikTok. The judicial pushback against TikTok was always going to be an uphill battle because of the constitutional questions about free speech, and Montana was a testbed for whether a ban could actually work, Krebs said. What this shows is that the courts take free speech very seriously, she added. When Montana became the first state to pass a law seeking to fully ban TikTok in May, it drew immediate pushback both from company and civil rights group that the law infringed on users' free speech rights. District Judge Donald Mole agreed in his ruling last week, writing that while there may be a public interest in protecting Montana consumers, the state has not shown how this TikTok bill does that. Instead, the bill oversteps state power and infringes on the constitutional right of users and businesses, he wrote. Molloy blocked Montana's TikTok ban, which was set to take effect in January through preliminary injection. This ruling is very significant, said Jenna Leventoff, Senior Policy Counsel at the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU. She said the ruling will make lawmakers looking to directly or indirectly ban TikTok think twice about the constitutionality about what they were doing. Carl Sazbo, Vice President and General Counsel at the tech industry group NetChoice, called it a huge red light to every other state considering such action. Not just because it being bad policy, but because it's never going to take effect. And all it will do is force the state to waste taxpayer resources fighting legislation that lawmakers know to be unconstitutional, he said. TikTok is among the associates member at NetChoice. How does this impact other potential TikTok bans? Lawmakers have proposed versions of the bill that sought to ban TikTok since the start of the year due to concerns about ByteDance, its China-based parent company. Congressional critics of TikTok argue that the app threatens national security by giving a Chinese company access to sensitive personal data from American users, which could then be shared with the Chinese government. TikTok has pushed back on such allegations. House and Senate Republicans introduced bills that aimed to ban the use of TikTok broadly. Those efforts were met with criticism from Democrats, but a bipartisan proposal was introduced in March that seemingly had a better chance at gaining a broad coalition of support. Was it Sense? I don't know what that is. Sense Mark Warner and John Thune introduced the Restrict Act, which could give the Commerce Department the ability to identify and mitigate risk posed by technology linked to foreign adversaries, including China. This bill would ultimately give the administration power to ban such apps as well. This is an article, holy moly. Warner spokesperson Rachel Cohen said the ruling just demonstrates the need for a comprehensive natural solution to address foreign technology threats that won't be struck down by the courts, Cohen said in an email. Leventoff, though, said the Restrict Act would likely face a similar fate in court if used to ban TikTok. That First Amendment analysis is going to happen no matter what avenue the government uses to ban TikTok, she added. Sazbo noted that when the former President Trump tried to ban TikTok through an executive order in 2020, he collided with the same limitation, the First Amendment. What the judge made clear is that there here is that just like it's impossible to drive from New York City to London, it's impossible to enact this type of ban on speech without violating the First Amendment, Sasbo said. The state of Montana has not said whether it will attempt to appeal the decision to a federal appeals court. Emily Cantrell, a spokesperson for Montana Attorney General Austin Knudsen, said, "This is a preliminary matter at this point. The state is weighing our options." The judge indicated several times that the analysis could change. As the case proceeds and the state has the opportunity to present a full factual record. We are looking forward to presenting the complete legal argument to defend the law that protects Montanans from Chinese Communist Party obtaining and using their data, Cantrell said in a statement. A TikTok spokesperson said the company is pleased the judge rejected this unconstitutional law, and hundreds of thousands of Montanans can continue to express themselves, earn a living, and find a community on TikTok. Last little section here. Oh, Monty, culprit, meet Monty. Monty is looking at becoming a streamer. He started doing a little bit of streaming here and there, and he's trying to get affiliate. So culprit is the man right now, the man of the hour for your contacts. If you have any questions about streaming, Monty, culprit, he has been getting into it. He's the guy to ask right now, or at least within my circle, he's the guy to ask. What about TikTok bans on government devices? Although Montana is the only state to pass a full ban on TikTok, other states and federal governments have put in place more narrow bans on the app on government-owned devices. Culprit Monty Streams, TTV Monty. He's getting into it right now. He wants to get into Minecraft streaming. He wants to get into Lethal Company streaming, and yeah. Anyways, I don't know. No conclusion there. Just meet. What's the meme? Now Kith. There we go. Culprit meet Monty. Monty meet culprit. Now Kith. Don't actually, because that would be really weird. George Wang, staff attorney at the Knight First Amendment Institute at Columbia University, said that although the ruling is about Montana's law, it could persuade other states considering their own bans, or even ones with narrower bans, to drop those efforts. While the ruling is specific to Montana, it's still a serious thing that a federal court, the first federal court to consider these bans, has indicated at least the categorical ban likely violates the First Amendment, Wang said. The Knight First Amendment Institute is challenging Texas's TikTok ban on government devices on behalf of the Coalition for Independent Technology Research, citing the ban applying to faculty in the state public services. Honestly, TikTok and any other casual app should really not be allowed on government devices. I think that is across the board a bad idea. So why anybody would be fighting for the right to do it, I'm not really sure. Whether other states or Biden administration kind of take this in remains to be seen. But it's a significant thing that the first federal court to address it has ruled the way it did, Wang said. The narrower bans, though, may fare better in court given the authority governments have. Sorry, guys. I think that's a separate question, because the governments can take measures more narrowly than that they deem to be in national security interest, Krebs said. What the heck? Hold on. Oh my god. Sasbo likened the government device bans to limitations a private company has on what websites employees can access. Yeah, that makes sense. It should be. It's one thing for a business to tell its employees what they can and can't do on company devices. It's a completely different thing for the government to come in and tell private citizens what they can and can't do on their own devices. That's a big thing. right? Culprit says literally no one should have anything that isn't work related on their work equipment, so it doesn't become a security risk. Exactly that. Like, there's no reason TikTok should be allowed on any type of government phone ever. Even if a government ban on TikTok were allowed to proceed, though experts have pointed out technical difficulties when enforcing a ban based on loopholes that would allow users to gain access to the platform. Krebs said that it could also keep lawmakers from pushing bans forward. I think it's worse than inaction to implement a policy that becomes farcical because no one will comply with it, she said. Yeah, obviously people should be allowed to put TikTok on their own phones. Definitely not on government phones, and depending on the workplace, probably not on work devices, but that is up to the company themselves to make that policy.